I enlisted in March 1st, 1950, and I went and took my training at Fort Ord, California. And it basically was riflemen going to the rifle ranges and going through basic training is basically what it was all about. And then from there, I went to the Oakland Army base, and from there, I went to Korea. And then I got to Korea in the latter part of 1950 and ended up at the Chosin Reservoir in North Korea. We were at a reservoir, and the Chinese outnumbered us anywhere from 10 to 1 to 20 to 1 at one time, and we had heard over the years that they were told to annihilate us to the last person. And MacArthur said the Chinese would never enter into the war. Well, he was wrong, and we started capturing Chinese in October of 1950 and sending them back to Division Rear. Somewhere along the line, people in Japan just didn't get it. Consequently, we had to fight for our lives, and it was horrific because my group had to come in and reinforce the 1st Marine Division. And I remember we came in one night and General O.P. Smith was moving his troops to fill in gaps somewhere. And so we were filling in where I think it was Easy 25, part of them went out. We went in and filled in for them. And then I think it was 4 nights and three days or something like that. We didn't get any sleep. It was cold. It was the worst winter in over 100 years. And we had one master sergeant. I don't know where he got the thermometer or whatever, but he said it got as low as 70 degrees below zero. That's, and we lost hundreds to frostbite and to the cold weather. They just froze to death. Oh my God, that was so. We did get out eventually, and if it hadn't have been for the Marine General and his disregard for General Ullman, who to this day was not liked very much by either the 1st Marine Division or the guys from the Army at all. And he didn't know what the heck was going on. There has been many times where we've been at functions and stuff like that where we were at a parade in Vancouver, Washington one time, probably 15, 20 years ago. And I was in the lead Jeep. We were going by where they were reviewing, and I could hear the guy behind the podium. He's saying, "Here comes the chosen few." And I happened to look over to my right, and there was a woman over there. She was crying. And I can't remember who was driving the Jeep. I said, "I'm getting out." I said, "There's a lady crying over there. I want to know why." She was part of the group that came out with us. Well, I tell you, she was crying, I started crying. But anyhow, that was very emotional for me at that time. One of the assemblies that we had there at Milwaukee High School when we were speaking there, the class president at that time, I can't remember his name, but he was from Korean descent. But anyhow, when he was talking up on the stage, he said he was the president of the student body, but he says, "I want to thank all you veterans." He says, "But especially I want to thank the chosen few." And he says, "My parents were part of the group of the 92,000 refugees that came out with you." And he says, "My grandparents were part of it." He says, And if it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't be here. I ended up getting married later, and my wife and I at that time had 3 beautiful girls. And I went on to work with Oregon Department of Transportation, rising up through the ranks to supervisor and then a superintendent. And I retired, 1991 or 1992, I can't remember the years, but anyhow, I've had a wonderful life, and I just enjoy being, attending the KWVA especially.